Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys with us again. You will recognize the person that I'm with here today. This is Kirk Ford. I've had the honor of supporting Kirk for the last couple of years while he's been making an incredible comeback from UC. We have a longer conversation that we recorded about a month ago, and you can find that in my channel. It's had a lot of feedback. It's been really well received. And off the back of that, Kirk was keen to do three more shorter conversations to help you understand the three pillars of health that he has introduced into his life, in which has enabled him to overcome UC from a very severe case to now living symptom free, UC free, happy, strong, and healthy. So, Kirk, really good to have you here with us.
Sure.
Um, could you share with the guys that are watching your UC story, kind of in a nutshell? Guys, you can go and check out the full story in our other conversation. But Kirk, how would you explain it to people if they're new to you?
So, so I got diagnosed in 2019. I just thought it was a stomach condition that it was a very rare case for me to get this. I was very unlucky, but as time grew and time went on, I knew that that wasn't the case. I was hospitalized in 2021 during the pandemic, during COVID, weren't allowing any visitors. How it was described to me, it was one of the most severe cases they'd seen on the ward. They wanted to give me a colonoscopy bag. I was being rushed down for surgery to have this done. If it wasn't for my good partner, Kirsty, she talked me out of it as I was being rushed down. I was put on morphine because of the pain I was in. You know, I was killed over on all fours, crying. I'm not ashamed to admit that. The amount of pain it was giving me was unbelievable. And the symptoms. And then they tried biological IV drip with me. They said that I'd be on it for the rest of my life. And after 8 weeks of being in hospital, they saw my markers gradually coming down. They let me go home and said I'd have to come back every 4 weeks as an outpatient for this IV drip. But I never ever went back, Rachel. I started working with yourself, your good self, started alternative therapies, started retraining the mind more than anything. I know that sounds bizarre because there's a cyberkinetic loop with the mind and the stomach, and reverse as well from stomach to the head. And I've healed myself and I feel great.
And I completely agree with everything you've been saying there. And anyone that's watching this, do not underestimate the power of your mind to make you sick and to make you well. And Kirk is a perfect example of that. And I am too. So, Kirk, in this conversation, we're going to be talking about something you are super passionate about, and that is cold water therapy. Can you explain, maybe firstly, how you got into it? And one thing I will say before we start, this is for educational purposes only. We are not recommending any of you suddenly change your lifestyle and throw yourselves into icy cold water for long periods of time. Before you make any big changes, especially if you are symptomatic or having any underlying health conditions, go speak to a professional that you know about this, whether it's your doctor, your FM practitioner, your nutritionist. Don't go doing things on your own off the back of what we're talking about. We're just sharing this information with you so that you know there are things out there that are free of charge and are available to you if it is suitable for you. Kirk, go. How did you come across cold water therapy?
Well, when I was in hospital, depths of despair, Rachel, at my lowest point, physically and mentally, I was, at my lowest points. I just started researching alternative therapies. Ulcerative colitis is inflammation in the large intestine, and what reduces inflammation is said to be the cold. So I thought, wow, okay, let's look into this a bit more. I looked at some documentaries with Wim Hof. A lot of people would have heard of Wim Hof. And I thought, as soon as I'm well enough and I can get my mind well enough and physically well enough, I'm doing it. It's not up for debate. I'm giving it a go. I'd heard of some stories online where somebody had cured their Crohn's through it. Somebody had even cured cancer. I can't say how evidential that is, but that's what they were saying. So I thought, right, this is something I'm really going to give a go at. And I got out of hospital in the March. So we was coming into the summer months. I had 8 weeks of starting to feel a little bit better. So around about the May time, I started going out to the sea in South Wales, around the coast. And do you know what, Rachel? After about the first or second one, I can remember thinking, this is superb. I feel great physically. I was starting to feel physically and mentally a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I'd lost so much weight. I think I'd come out of hospital 10 and a half stone. People used to see me 13 and a half stone. There's a lot of weight to lose. People coming up to me even saying you don't look too good. But I'd say from about May till about July, I put on a stone and a half of good weight, eating healthy, eating really good. And this cold water, I started in the right months. I didn't just go straight into the cold season. And then going from sort of July to October time, that's when it started getting really cold. But that's when I started even feeling the benefits even more. So with that, then I bought a cold plunge for the garden. And this is where it really took off, because in the morning I'd wake up first thing, I'd get straight into the cold plunge for 2 minutes. And then I'd also in the evenings try my best to get to the beach or get to the local forest by me, which is fresh water off the mountain. And off the back of it, we formed a group called the Chicken Dippers. So yeah, there's probably about 15, maybe 20 of us in this WhatsApp group. So I've had a call this morning off my mate Dan and Megan. When are we going for our next cold water dip? Can you fit one in today, sort of thing. So there's just so many people now bouncing off it, and I can't explain to you as well, Rachel, the buzz you get after it, the dopamine buzz is outrageous. It's so good. It makes you just feel good. And like there's certain times in the day, in the evening, especially Kirsty, you say, oh, please don't do it so late in the evening, because sometimes I come home feeling so energized. She's like, I think you need to calm down a bit now, Kirk.
I love it. I haven't used cold water therapy anywhere near as much as you, but on the odd occasion I have done it. It is a really crazy sort of an experience, because it's quite terrifying to be in the cold and you've got to control your breathing. But when you get out, that buzz you get, and then the heat that is generated to get your body, the core body temperature up again, is quite immense. And also I love it that you've combined this now just organically with a community. And I don't think you
Absolutely.
can underestimate the power of community as well. And also, guys, Kirk is so disciplined with cold water therapy because he knows how good he feels from it, that even when you've been away with work, you will arrange at the hotel that you have a room with a bath, don't you? So you can
Yeah.
still, as
Yeah.
much as possible, keep up your routine, which is really, really great. Do you have some, I'm putting you on the spot now. Did you have some kind of facts to help people understand why it might be good for them?
Yeah. So it's basically putting you into a state where you're a bit frightened. I know that sounds a bit bizarre,
Yeah,
because we're traditionally, as human beings, we like warm weather, not cold. Yeah, that's what we're used to. And with this, you've really got to get your mind in tune to think, right, like last night, it was hammering down with rain in South Wales. It was 4 degrees. I was with my two friends last night, Wayne and Luke, and they were like, oh my God, I don't fancy this. And you really got to focus your mind to get
yes,
into the zone. So we were there for 3 minutes in the car. We was geeing each other, come on, we can do this. Let's get out. Let's get it done. And then within the first minute, because the first minute's always the hardest, because you're deep breathing, just to get your breathing in check. After that minute is superb. And when you get out, it is really cold because you've got the cold air. But that's for the next hour, when you feel your core body warming up. It's just brilliant. The intrinsic feeling is amazing.
yeah.
Um, they say 11 minutes per week is the guide if anybody does cold water therapy, to get all the benefits of dopamine kick, reducing inflammation in the body, etc. But I won't lie, Rachel, I've took it to the next level. I probably do 11 minutes a day.
And you've done that over quite a long period of time, haven't you?
Yeah, the main point of all of this, you need to feel uncomfortable. That's what it's there for. You want
Yeah,
to put your mind and body in an uncomfortable situation.
yeah. And it boosts the immune system as well, doesn't it? And it can improve it's known to improve general well-being, and it can possibly even help with depression.
Yeah,
Um, it can also improve risk factors around cardiovascular health and blood pressure issues and cholesterol levels.
yeah,
And also, I mean, if you think about it, obviously people have been doing this for a long, long time. It's become a lot more talked about, but you know, rugby players, they get in an ice bath after rugby matches. It reduces muscle stiffness,
Yeah.
and because it's reducing the swelling and the inflammation in the body. Um, um, what was I going to say? Something I have been reading up on. If anyone was going to start doing this off their own back, out of their own choice, if you find, start small. Would you agree? Start short,
Yeah.
short burst. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are getting yourself in cold water, whether it's cold shower or cold bath or like a plunge, like Kirk's got in his garden, you get out and you are not warming up quickly. That can be a sign that your nervous system, your body just isn't quite ready for it yet, and it's quite
Absolutely.
extreme. So if
Yeah.
you're not warming up quite quickly, use that as a signal from your body. It might be too much right now.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, get the layers of clothes on. This is why people are getting into swapping. I don't know if you've done this, Kirk, or you've had like the ability to cold water sauna, cold
Well,
water
hot to cold,
sauna.
hot to cold is superb. So on a Sunday evening, what I'll do, I'll run a boiling hot bath. Um, I'll go in the hot bath, I come out, I go straight into the cold, back into the hot bath, straight into the cold. I do that once a week. It's brilliant. And it just turns on different genes as well. It's meant to be really good for your growth hormone. So it spikes your growth hormone, which for anybody that's into their training like myself, it's really good because you can build a little bit more muscle. It gives you that more energy as well. It's just superb. And it's said to turn on genes as well, certain genes in the body. It's a bit too technical for me, if I'm being honest, but it helps metabolism and your VO2 max, which is your maximum capacity to use oxygen. So, and the knock-on effect of that, Rachel, is your cardiovascular system, which you just mentioned, which is your ability of your heart and lungs to cope with prolonged activity periods over long periods of time. Wow, that's took me back to my A-level days. But yeah, it's meant to have a huge knock-on effect for that. It's meant to control your weight
Yeah.
because you're constantly burning calories when you're in there. But I tell you one thing that's really done for me as well, it's lowered my heart rate. My resting heart rate some nights is 40, which if you Google that, I'm not saying I'm a professional athlete because I'm not,
But
but
that is the category it falls under.
the
Yeah.
category it falls under, which
Yeah,
is
I mean, it's just brilliant, brilliant. So start short and small. Something that I downloaded a long time ago, I guess it's still available. If you look for the Wim Hof method, there's a little app. He does all kinds of other stuff, but there's a timer in there that just starts you at literally 10 seconds.
yeah,
Cold, like you have a shower at the end, turn the water right down, 10 seconds timer. Next day, a little bit longer, next day, a little bit longer. And it's a good way just to help you gradually build your way up. So there's
yeah.
lots of resources out there. Again, that app is free. You don't have to spend
Yeah.
any money.
I tell you what, I read last night, just on a scientific paper. Have you heard of T cells?
Yes, killer T cells. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's meant to kill cancerous cells in the body as well, cold water. So, you're reading so many positive benefits from this as time goes by, especially in the last 2 years when I've been into it. Every month I'm learning something new of how
yeah,
the positive response it has on a human body.
yeah, yeah. Your thymus gland about here produces your killer T cells, and as it's nice and it's big when we're young, but as we get bigger, it's kind of the same size, and it produces lots and lots when we're younger. As we get older, it naturally produces less, and then there's lots of ways you can activate that. Cold water is one, thymus thump is another. So there's all kinds of ways of stimulating more production of killer T cells. But yeah, cold water therapy is a great way of doing that too. So I'm keeping an eye on the clock because we wanted to keep this fairly short so that you guys can not have any excuses to not watch these conversations because it doesn't take too long. We've given you, Kirk's explained to you all the benefits he's had from it and that it's one of the things he still does to maintain his health and just basically feel amazing.
Yeah,
Um, we've given you some ideas of how to start. You can always speak to professionals about how you personally would go about doing it. What I would also add is, due to Kirk's journey with UC, it has completely transformed him and his life. And he is now branching out and supporting others with their own gut issues, IBS, IBD, for example, and other people. But of course, people are going to be drawn to Kirk because he has gone through it. I strongly recommend you follow Kirk and what he's going to be up to in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, because he's going to make a really big difference in this world. I'm going to put the information on how you do that in the in the blurb with this video. Keep an eye on us, keep an eye on us both. We're both here to support you with your IBD recovery. We know it's possible. We are both
Absolutely.
living
Yeah.
happy, healthy, strong lives, no meds, no particular diet as such. Fair to say?
I don't follow
Yeah,
anything, you know.
yeah. Really happy, really healthy. And if you take nothing else from this conversation, I just want to make sure you know that no matter what people tell you, your health is always within you and you can live a full life and not even have to think about IBD.
Absolutely.
Anything from you, Kirk, before we finish?
No, it's just been a pleasure working with you, Rachel. I always say this. I think if I never did that Google search on you and come across you, I don't think I'd be in this position today. So, it's a two-way process. You've been absolutely superb, and I'd recommend you to anybody out there with any gut issues.
That is very kind, and I'm honoured to support you because just watching this whole transformation, I mean, to me, it just feels like it had to happen. The learning from this is making you the man you are today. It's just fantastic. It's very, very exciting. Thank you guys for watching. Check out Kirk's information, follow him, keep an eye on him. Any questions about this, any comments or feedback, we're always happy to hear it. Drop it in the comments, send us emails. We'll see you in one of our other conversations shortly.
Cheers, Rachel.